and welcome to LDN Capital TV with me, Fiona Fox. We have a huge show for you today when Johnathan Hardwick, former London councillor, makes his professional wrestling debut. Also on today's show, British champion John Ritchie and his associate Hugh Mungas will tag up as they go head-to-head against the dream team of Tex Benedict and Ashe. So sit back as we go down to ringside.
This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first from Hartford, weighing in at 16 stone, 7 pounds, Johnathan Hardwick.
Thank you very much indeed to our ring announcer, Steve Litton. My name is Mr. TV, John Atkins. And yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another episode of LDN Capital TV. And what a show we have got for you this week. Making his way to the ring now, and indeed making his full-time wrestling debut, Johnathan Hardwick.
And his opponent from Southend in Essex, weighing in at 14 stone, 9 pounds, this is Kyle Hart.
Well, wrestling fans, Hardwick's opponent in his professional wrestling debut, the youngster Kyle Hart Ashmore. Kyle Hart Ashmore. And fans, we do not know too much about this guy, but we know even less about the councillor, Johnathan Hardwick. Regular viewers here on LDN Capital TV will have seen him popping up and down on our screens over the last several months. He has been hounding the LDN owner and promoter, Mr. Sanjay Bagga, claiming or citing financial irregularities on the part of LDN. Well, referee Chris Roberts checking both competitors, calls for the bell, and this contest is underway. And as I said, Johnathan Hardwick popping up and down in his role as councillor for one of the London boroughs here in the region. And he was hounding Mr. Bagga, and it looked at one stage like the very future of LDN wrestling may be in threat. However, somehow, some way, Mr. Bagga managed to get his finances in order, and I believe one of the terms of the settlement was that the councillor, Johnathan Hardwick, demanded that he become a professional wrestler himself. And here he is tonight making his debut on LDN Capital TV against young Kyle Hart Ashmore. And thus far, well, he's done very little to impress. And a nice hip drag there, arm toss. And another one from the youngster Ashmore. And Johnathan Hardwick, who to the best of my knowledge has got no real background in professional wrestling, has got his hands full with the young Ashmore. Sound wrist lock there from young Kyle Hart. Nice reversal from Hardwick. Leapfrog. And he does the splits, and surprising athleticism there from the councillor. Goodness knows who's been training him. Oh, big drop kick there from Kyle Hart. And Hardwick goes to the outside, and his opponent follows him, misses the clothesline. Hardwick goes scampering back into the ring. Hard in behind him, and that is, to be quite frank, the manoeuvre of a veteran. Johnathan Hardwick got back into the ring first, and he was ready and waiting for Kyle Hart. And thus far, I am impressed with the councillor. Shoulder barges his opponent into the corner. Oh, and blistering chop. And a neck breaker for good measure. Goes for the cover, and the counsellor could score a big win here. Just a 2 count there. Kyle Hart Ashmore kicks out. But counsellor Johnathan Hardwick is really showing what he's made of in this, his professional wrestling debut. As I said, a perpetual thorn in the side of LDN Wrestling and Mr. Bagger for many, many months here on Capital TV. For a brief period, he was actually the council's representative, and he took over the day-to-day running of the company on behalf of Sanjay Bagger while he attempted to get their finances in order. Now I believe everything seems to be hunky-dory, and the only, just a 2 count there from Hardwick, and the only sign that anything was ever wrong is simply that Hardwick now takes up a spot on the active LDN roster. Whether or not he deserves it remains to be seen, but thus far, not doing too badly at all in this, his professional wrestling debut. But he's arguing with the referee, and Hart with the roll-up. Could be a 3 count. And the counsellor rolls through. Oh, nice manoeuvre there from Kyle Hart. Rolls over Hardwick for the cover. And Hardwick gets a shoulder up. Hart with another hip toss, sends the counsellor over, and he lands hard on his back. Whips him across the ring. The counsellor goes up and over, and lands hard there. And Johnathan Hardwick is in trouble in his first ever match. And you've got to wonder whether he's realising that perhaps he's bitten off more than he can chew here in LDN. Maybe he should have stayed behind that desk pushing pencils like he knew best. But he had a dream, and he saw a way to get in there. And my goodness, he has got Kyle Hart Ashmore up, and that's a pile driver. Perfectly executed, hooks the leg, and he's done it. Counsellor Johnathan Hardwick in his professional wrestling debut.
Winner, Johnathan Hardwick
Scores a win over Kyle Hart Ashmore with a picture-perfect pile driver. And he jumped a good couple of feet in the air. And Kyle Ashmore landing hard, head first. And the counsellor scoring a win. And my goodness, fans, that has got to go down as an upset. A man who, to the best of my knowledge, has no professional wrestling training whatsoever, defeating Kyle Hart Ashmore here in the opening contest of tonight's edition of LDN Capital.
Last month, I had a meeting with Sean Herbert, and I'm pleased to announce that LDN Wrestling has signed a TV deal with the wrestling channel.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of the London Eye. Recently, John Ritchie was the victim of theft when rival Tex Benedict stole his championship belt. Despite John Ritchie being awarded the new LDN title belt, he is still angry over Tex flaunting the original as his own property. Tonight, the two men will be on opposite sides of the ring as they compete in tag team action. In addition to this, should John Ritchie and Hugh Mungas lose this contest, Tex Benedict gets one more shot at the title.
You want to know where my pals are? Well, first of all, there's about 200 of them right here. And second of all, if you put your eyes on that screen right there, you'll see just who my pal is. And we want you and you, Hugh Mungas, in a tag team match. And if I pin you, Ritchie, or if I pin you, Mungas, or if anyone pins you, I'm getting a shot at your title, and then we can clear up who the real champion is. How about that?
Finally, the tag team titles are being hotly contested by both Hot Property and Project Future. Project Future, who lost the titles due to poor officiating, demanded a rematch. However, instead, Hot Property fled, thus losing the match via a count-out. Although Project Future won, they did not win the championships as they cannot change hands via a count-out. So next week, the tag team titles will be on the line when Project Future take on Hot Property in a Tornado tag title match. There'll be no DQs, no countouts and no tags, just 4 men in the ring at the same time with the gold on the line. I'm Fiona Fox and I'll see you next week.
This is London. This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a tag team match and it's set for 1 fall. Introducing first, at a total combined weight of 44 stone. From anywhere but here, Hugh Mungas and his partner, the LDN champion from the East End of London, the notorious Mr. John Ritchie.
When you come to East End, you don't want to be given, you take. You're a real match, for a real man, for a real belt. Now bring it on!
Well, wrestling fans, tag team action here for tonight's main event, right here on LDN Capital TV. Making their way to the ring now, a formidable duo indeed. You can see on the right-hand corner of your screen there, the largest professional wrestler in LDN today, the 30-plus stone Hugh Mungas. And his tag team partner tonight, the rightful LDN wrestling heavyweight champion, the notorious John Ritchie.
I come from the East End. When you come to the East End, you don't wait to be given, you take.
And these are two gentlemen you do not want to mess with.
Now bring it on!
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents come to the ring at a total combined weight of 26 stone. Firstly, from London, Arizona, he is the former LDN champion, Tex Benedict. And his tag team partner
if anyone can take on the challenge of Mungas and Ritchie, it has got to be these two of the most popular and indeed two of the most successful wrestlers here in LDN, Ashe and Tex Benedict. And you can see that even though the notorious John Ritchie is indeed the rightful LDN champion with that gorgeous new championship belt, you can see Tex Benedict is still coming out to the ring wearing the old championship belt here, which he stole just a couple of weeks ago right here on Capital TV. We have seen Benedict display something of an attitude in recent months here. He feels he's been, for want of a better phrase, ripped off, screwed over too many times in LDN. He's had enough and he is not taking it anymore. Indeed, a sign of that desperation came just a couple of weeks ago when he stole that championship belt from the corner of Ritchie whilst Ritchie was competing in a match. He believed he had finally got one over on the notorious Hart man when LDN announced that they had already commissioned a new championship belt and they would be presenting it to Ritchie live on Capital TV. We saw that presentation last week right here. Well, excuse me, fans. John Ritchie having some words here with some of the members of the audience, and referee Chris Roberts, who has been assigned this contest, really needs to get on top of this one. Hugh Mungas, a very intimidating figure indeed. Not many men larger than him in the entire country. And indeed, John Ritchie, not somebody you would like to run into in a dark alley late at night. Well, I think I can see what the problem is. John Ritchie is not relishing the prospect of handing over his championship belt to the referee, and indeed he is giving it to one of the security men there for safekeeping. And now I'm guessing the matchup can begin. Ritchie very proud indeed of that championship belt, and I think the recent actions of Tex Benedict have led him to become somewhat paranoid. And you can see Benedict there with the original, the old LDN championship belt. He is not the recognised champion, but he carries that belt around, I think, more than anything, to get under the skin of John Ritchie. Well, it looks like we have reached an impasse here. Nobody willing to back down. And we are going to need to get one man from each team out of the ring before we can start. And it looks like Mungas is going to the outside, and it's Ritchie and it's Benedict. Looked like Ashe was going to start the match up for his team. Ritchie turned his back, and Benedict said, nope, I'll take this one. And the fans very solidly behind the team of Ashe and Tex Benedict. Ashe, of course, a hometown boy here in Cheshunt, and Tex Benedict, ever popular in LDN.
This is London. This is London.
And Benedict absolutely focused, absolutely ready here. And John Ritchie he is really stalling. He is delaying this one. He is in no rush for this matchup to start, and he's certainly in no rush to face Tex Benedict. And indeed, he tags in his partner, Hugh Mungas, before ever even locking up with Tex. So now we have got Benedict and we have got Mungas. And these two men certainly no strangers to one another. And a lock-up might be a mistake for Benedict. I'll give him his due. He never backs down from anyone. But I don't know how you expect to lock up with a man who is quite literally 3 times as heavy as you and come out on top. Well, we saw the coronation last week. The new LDN Championship belt, that gorgeous piece of hardware, was presented to LDN Heavyweight Champion John Ritchie. He was very, very proud indeed to be awarded that belt. Certainly one of the most valued titles in the country here. And that championship ceremony, that award ceremony there, the coronation if you like, was interrupted by Tex Benedict, the former LDN champion, and a man who has had more than his fair share of problems with both Hugh Mungas and John Ritchie. And it looks like he's got problems with him now. He is just being bent back first, bent double, and slammed hard on the mat. And as I said, Tex Benedict there interrupted the award ceremony there for John Ritchie last week here on Capital TV. And he said, you might be the champion, you might have that new belt, but you know as well as I do that I deserve it as much as anyone here. I want a match with you. I want a chance to prove myself again as the champion. Mungas proving to be immovable here, even against 2, but a double drop kick. Well, even a double drop kick doesn't take him off his feet. But he is staggering. Well, hold on a second. If 2 men can't take him down. Oh my, but they can knock him into John Ritchie. But take a look at that. 2 of the top stars of LDN barely able to shake Hugh Mungas. But as I was saying, Tex Benedict interrupted the coronation ceremony last week, and he said, John Ritchie, I want a piece of that belt. I want to be the rightful LDN champion again. I deserve it as much as anyone. John Ritchie said, fine, I don't back down, but tell you what, if you want that shot at me, you have got to go through me and Hugh Mungas. So fans, we are seeing this tag team matchup here tonight. Tex Benedict and Ashe against Hugh Mungas and John Ritchie. And at stake is a shot for Tex Benedict at John Ritchie's LDN Championship. If either man goes down, if either Hugh Mungas or John Ritchie is pinned by either one of Tex Benedict or Ashe, then Tex Benedict will receive that shot in 2 weeks' time right here on LDN Capital TV. So you had better believe that Tex Benedict and Ashe have brought their A game here tonight. Very, very keen indeed to pick up a win in order for Tex Benedict to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his, the LDN Heavyweight Championship. But thus far in this contest, it has been all Hugh Mungas. Ashe very keen indeed to help out his friend Benedict. But you've got to wonder, Ashe himself was a former LDN champion. And you know in the back of his mind, he is going to have one eye on that belt, whoever's got it. Be it the notorious John Ritchie, be it Hugh Mungas, be it his best friend Tex Benedict. Well, some double teaming there from John Ritchie and Hugh Mungas, I believe using the metallic studs on Hugh Mungas' jacket and just raking the face of Ashe. And Ashe now finding himself in the wrong side of the ring, desperately crawling over to tag in his tag team partner. And Mungas just toying with him. Like ants to the gods are we, is Ashe to Mungas. He's playing with him for his sport, and he is cutting off Tex Benedict from getting that tag. I would not want to be Ashe right about now. A big belly splash there from Mungas. And he has certainly got the belly to make that move effective. And now he tags in the champion. And the notorious John Ritchie is in the ring for the first time against Ashe. And you saw he pointed to Benedict and said, "Benedict, son, I want a piece of you." As we said, if Benedict or Ashe get the pin against John Ritchie or Mungas, then Tex Benedict will finally get that shot at the championship belt at John Ritchie in 2 weeks' time here on LDN Capital TV. So fans, you do not want to miss that. You really need to be stuck to LDN Capital TV like glue for the coming weeks. We have got the champion John Ritchie. He may well have to defend his belt against Tex Benedict in a fortnight. As well as that, we have got tag team action coming up as the tag team champions next week, Hot Property, defend their championship trophies in a tag title tornado contest against the men they beat for the belts, Project Future. And of course, fans, as you will know from following LDN Capital TV for the last couple of months, the Golden Grapplers Tournament is underway in a big way. The quarterfinals have been completed, and starting next week, we have got the semi-finals of the Golden Grappler Tournament. Each contest fought under Spirit rules, and remaining in the championship thus far, 4 of the top LDN wrestlers. We have got 2 legends from the world of sport days, Steve Gray and Johnny Kidd, both potentially favourites to win the championship, but only one can, and they will face each other in a semi-final matchup in a couple of weeks' time here on Capital TV. Next week, I believe we have got Yorgos against, at the moment, it looks like Mikey Mendoza. However, he took one heck of a beating after beating Corrupt in his quarter-final match. He took a beating from Danny Garnell. I believe he did suffer a concussion. He has been in and out of the doctor's office over the last week, and thus far he has not received clearance to wrestle. His semi-final matchup against Yorgos is scheduled for next week, but as of press time, as of this moment, we do not know if Mikey Mendoza will be in action against Yorgos. So fans, another reason to really stay tuned to LDN Capital TV. The Golden Grapplers Tournament, the semi-finals start next week. Yorgos will take on, fingers crossed, Mikey Mendoza. However, as I said, Mendoza with the concussion may not receive doctor's clearance, so stay tuned to Capital TV for the conclusion of the Golden Grapplers Tournament. Ashe now in trouble against John Ritchie. Big knee to the gut there, knocking the wind out of Ashe. Ashe whipped across the ring. I believe he dodged that drop kick, and in comes Tex Benedict, and Tex is hungry. He is hungry for John Ritchie, and he whips him across the ring. Benedict looking for that big clothesline, knocks Ritchie out of his feet. Benedict up top and comes off with a beautiful elbow. Here's the cover, and Ritchie kicks out. And Benedict is on fire. He has got so much at stake. He wants to beat John Ritchie, but he tastes a boot to the gut for good measure. And he is back down. And that has got to be frustrating for Tex Benedict. He has spent the majority of this contest so far watching his tag team partner Ashe get a beating. Finally gets a chance to enter the competition to take on the champ. And the champion knees him in the guts. And Benedict is down on the mat. Everything to play for Benedict. If he can beat the champ here, That is going to put him in good stead for his championship shot in 2 weeks' time.
This is London. This is London. This is London.
Benedict has had such an appalling string of luck over the last several months here on Capital TV. And indeed, we have seen him act quite uncharacteristically over the last couple of weeks, going as far as stealing John Ritchie's championship belt. Indeed, I was speaking to him in the hours before he went out and stole that belt from John Ritchie. He said he was fed up. He always played by the rules. He always did things by the book. He never took any shortcuts. And yet he just couldn't catch a break. Oh no, Hugh Mungas there. He just splashed his own partner. Nimble-footed Tex Benedict traded places with John Ritchie, and the 30-plus stone Hugh Mungas just decimated his own tag team partner. But can Ashe have any effect on him? It would appear not. Ashe coming off the ropes for a third time. Well, if the big kicks and splashes have no effect, a thumb to the eye always will. It doesn't matter how big you are. But my goodness! Hugh Mungas with a big clothesline. And I don't think the big man has left his feet. We saw earlier in the contest even a double drop kick from Ashe and Benedict barely shook Mungas. If two men can't get the job done, I don't know what it's going to take. Hugh Mungas, an absolutely fearsome individual. And indeed, John Ritchie, the champion,
receives his first public warning.
Well, I beg your pardon there, fans. A public warning there for Hugh Mungas. I believe he was choking out Ashe in the corner. Referee in a good position. He's not going to take any nonsense from Hugh Mungas. He is more than happy to dish out a public warning if he feels a wrestler deserves it. But John Ritchie providing the distraction, and Mungas back again to that choke. And referee Chris Roberts would do well to let Ashe get back up to his feet to force Mungas back into the middle of the ring. And as I was saying before, Hugh Mungas received that public warning. Hugh Mungas is a big individual. Both men coming off the top. And this time from the top ropes, he's still up. He is still on his feet. But Ashe and Benedict both in. Mungas catches Benedict, but he can't catch Ashe. Cover from Benedict. And he is just tossed over the bottom rope like a sack of potatoes, like he was absolutely weightless. Continuing the pounding on the outside. And this match has gone into some dangerous territory there for Ashe. Meanwhile, in the ring, Benedict and John Ritchie squaring off. Benedict looks for the drop kick. John Ritchie holds on to the ropes. But an inside cradle there from Tex Benedict. There's the cover. And John Ritchie goes down. Tex Benedict with the cover. And I didn't even think he was the legal man, but the referee counted it.
And Ashe.
And wrestling fans, Tex Benedict has just scored the 1-2-3 over LDN champion John Ritchie. And that means in 2 weeks' time, right here on Capital TV, Tex Benedict takes on John Ritchie for the LDN Championship. What a matchup that is going to be next week. The semi-finals begin of the Golden Grappler Tournament, plus the tag team trophies are on the line. How much can John Ritchie fake? How much can John Ritchie trust Hugh Mungas? How much can Ashe trust Tex Benedict? Fans, we will find out in the weeks to come. But in 2 weeks' time here on Capital TV, Tex Benedict gets his shot once and for all at the LDN champion, the notorious John Ritchie. And here tonight, Ashe and Tex Benedict score a big tag team win here in the main event. And John Ritchie is not happy about that. Well, the referee's decision is final, and if I was referee Chris Roberts, I would be hot-footing it out of there. A fearsome duo indeed, not one I would want to mess with. Next week on LDN Capital TV, the first semi-final in the Golden Grappler Tournament, Yorgos versus Mikey Mendoza. Plus tag title action, a wild tornado tag match as Hot Property defend against Project Future.